Welcome back to the Transported Mind Studio. Today we bring to you more amazing story of Jason Statham. Stay connected. Jason Statham did an action movie involving cars early on his career with 2003's The Italian Job, and he returned to the genre in 2008 with Death Race. The movie, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson of Resident Evil and Mortal Kombat fame, is a remake of the 1975 film Death Race 2000. The Death Race movies are about a deadly race for fame set in a dystopian America involving a legendary prisoner known as Frankenstein, who is one of the drivers. Statham headlines the 2008 remake and plays the latest prisoner to take on the Frankenstein mantle and mask. 2008's Death Race was not a major hit upon its release. The film made $75 million at the box office despite having a budget that was reportedly nearly as much. It also received mixed to negative reviews, resulting in the 41% critics score it has on Rotten Tomatoes nearly 17 years after its release. The reception to Death Race did not hinder Jason Statham's action career. He had Transporter and Crank sequels that were released shortly after, and then he launched the Expendables franchise with Sylvester Stallone. A few years later, Fast and Furious came calling, and the rest is history. Jason Statham's role in Fast and Furious may be more well-known, but Death Race is the more ridiculous action movie between them. I just watched Death Race for the first time and was struck by how extreme the action is compared to the Fast and Furious films. Don't get me wrong, the latter has done its fair share of unbelievable moments, but Statham's 2008 car movie is on another level. There's a futuristic setting, highly weaponized cars, gruesome deaths, and more that all help elevate over-the-top moments Death Race puts to the screen. That isn't necessarily a bad thing, either. Not everything in Death Race works, but the action and racing sequences delivered by Paul W.S. Anderson can be quite thrilling at times. The ridiculous nature of the action adds to the potential enjoyment factor. Death Race is not meant to be taken seriously, with the big reveal of a giant truck that feels ripped right out of Mad Max Fury Road, creating a combination of George Miller's mind and Vin Diesel's franchise. The irony of watching Death Race after Jason Statham became part of a bigger car action franchise in Fast and Furious is seeing the similarities between them. His Death Race character even has a similar trajectory and rivalry to Deckard Shaw. This is largely due to Fast and Furious mainstay Tyrese Gibson also having a role in Death Race. They are at odds throughout most of the movie before teaming up at the very end to break out of prison and get their freedom. It definitely wasn't intentional for Fast and Furious to parallel Death Race with how Statham and Gibson's characters interact, but the similarity is there nonetheless. Statham's Deckard Shaw and Gibson's Roman Pierce are enemies initially in Furious 7, but they ultimately wind up working together briefly in Fast X. Even then, there's a level of distrust between them, similar to the relationship their Death Race characters have. The biggest difference is Jason Statham being a villain turning good in Fast and Furious instead of remaining the hero throughout Death Race. More hidden gems and epic endings are coming your way, so hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. You don't want to miss what's next. This was the Transported Mind Studio, bringing stories to life. Until the next reel, stay curious.